Hey everybody, it's me Chris. I'm back over here in the kitchen, and today I'm making a great dish. I'm going to make chicken scarpariello. And if you've never heard of it, it's basically a chicken and sausage stew, and you find it in a lot of nicer Italian restaurants. There's a place my family goes to all the time where we always order it, and it's pretty good. It's my brother-in-law Joe's favorite dish, so I know he's going to be watching this video. But you're really going to like this one. The sauce is made with vinegar and white wine. It's a sweet and sour, or as they say in Italian, it's an agrodolce sauce, and it's really, really tasty. So let me show you what I got for ingredients here. I got here, it's two types of chicken I'm using. Now you could use any type of chicken, bone in, bone out, white meat, dark meat, doesn't matter. Whatever you like. I got some boneless, skinless chicken breast. I got some boneless, skinless chicken thighs and leg meat. I got a couple pieces of sweet Italian sausage. Alright, and for my vegetables, I got here one large yellow onion. I had some leftover red onion here. I'm just going to throw that in there. Some bell peppers. I got yellow, orange, and red, so we get some nice color. I got a couple of red potatoes. Some garlic. I'm just going to use probably this whole head of garlic. One bouillon cube in place of the chicken broth. And if you don't have you don't keep chicken broth around, a bouillon cube is great. Just mix in a little bit of water, and it's easy to store. You always have some quick instant chicken stock, so I'm going to use that. I got some, obviously, my extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper. I'm using these hot cherry peppers, and I'll use a little bit of the vinegar that's inside there for the sauce, as well as some red wine vinegar, some white wine, whatever you have at home is great. A little bit of water, some regular all-purpose flour for the dredging of the chicken, and some just plain white sugar. So let me get this a little bit organized, and we'll start with the prepping the vegetables. All right, so for my vegetables, they can all go in one bowl because we're going to add them to the pan at the same time. So for my onion here, I'm just going to cut off, and I'm going to try to cut everything basically the same size. So I cut my onion off, cut the ends off, I cut it in half, and just take out the paper. And I'm looking for about a 1-inch piece. So just a rustic chop just like this. And I'll just throw it right in the bowl. And so for my peppers, I'm just going to cut off all 4 sides. If you get some extra white rib, you just want to take it out. And I'm going to do basically the same thing. Just nice 1-inch pieces. Throw them right in the bowl. And then for my potatoes, if any of the skin is bad, I'll just trim these up. These are large. Sometimes they get some bad spots on them. But same idea. Just a rustic chop. And again, I'm looking for about a 1-inch by 1-inch piece. And that's about right. Alright, so for my garlic here, I'm going to use the whole head. It's a pretty large head of garlic. And I'm just going to cut off the back. And that'll loosen them up, and I'll just take each one of the cloves. I'm just going to give it a smash. I'll take it out of the paper, and I'm going to throw them all right in with the rest of my vegetables. There we go, the last 2. So that's about 8 or 9, 10 cloves of garlic, nice sized cloves. I got everything in my bowl here. My potatoes, my peppers, my onions, and my garlic. Alright, so now I'm going to work on these pickled peppers here. Now these are hot cherry peppers. They're very, very spicy. If you don't like it spicy, just don't put them in. You could get sweet peppers in the same jar and without any heat. So they are very strong. I'll show you what I do with these. I'm only going to use about 3 here. And I'll just cut off the top and cut it in half. And I'm just going to clean out the seeds, the inside. You could leave that. It's edible. It's pickled and there's nothing wrong with it. But it's going to be even more spicy. So totally up to you. I'll just cut them like that. And I'm going to cut them into just small strips, just like this. Alright, so that's my last cherry pepper. I'm going to set these aside. I'm going to clean off this board and set up my poultry board, and we'll start to clean the chicken. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to prep the chicken. So these are, I always use a poultry board. And this is a plastic board that's easy to wash. I don't put raw chicken or any kind of poultry on my wooden cutting board. I like to keep them separate so there's no contamination. Well, I got this boneless, skinless breast here. All right, and I'm just gonna clean it up. You see that sometimes there's some blood spots on there. We'll take that off, and I'll trim any fat. There's some on the edge here, some on the underneath. Usually there's a little corner in there with some connective tissue. So you really want to take all that out. You just want that really good white meat. Cut the fat off the end, and then basically I'm just gonna make some medallions. And you know, chicken, when you look at it, a breast like this will have a grain. You can see the lines there. So you always want to try, if you can, to cut against that. So usually I get about three medallions out of one breast, and I'll cut it once, and I'll cut it again, and I got 3 nice pieces. And you don't even need to use a tenderizer. If you just press these down, just to even them out with the palm of your hand, just want to get an even thickness, and just put them right into a large mixing bowl there. All right, so for my boneless, skinless chicken thighs, now these are a cheap cut. I mean, they're half the price of the white meat, or sometimes less, but you don't get a lot of meat on them. And the reason is you really got to trim up all this fat and connective tissue. You really got to put some work into these, but it's super juicy and flavorful meat. It's really the best part of the chicken. So I'll just trim this one up as best I can, and you want to get it all off. And if you got a really sharp knife, that's your best bet, because it's gonna make the job easy, and it's gonna make certain that you get the most out of it and that you don't lose a lot of this great meat. So see some big chunks of fat there. I'll just cut that off, and then some of this white connective tissue there. I'm gonna take that out till I got a really pretty nice looking piece of chicken thigh there. Put that right in my bowl. All right, so my chicken is prepped, and now I got my nice Dutch oven here heated up to about medium heat. I'm just gonna put a little splash of extra virgin olive oil. And you know, we had about a half-hour prep work to get to this point, but after this, it's pretty easy because it's all happening in this one pot. So I'm gonna put down my sausages, and I'm gonna start to brown those first. And what I'm going to use here is, I got this splatter screen, so this will prevent the grease from getting all over the kitchen. It's a great investment if you have the chance to get one of these. And then while that starts to brown, I'm going to prep my chicken. So the first thing I need to do, I got to season this chicken with some salt and pepper. Okay, good bit of seasoning there. My salt and pepper. And normally what you would do is take these chicken pieces and you dredge them in flour, one piece at a time. I do it a little bit different, and it makes it a bit easier for me, but I'll season them first and toss them, and then I'm going to take my all-purpose flour, and I'm just going to put it right into the bowl. And again, that's why I use this oversized bowl. I only have about 2 pounds of chicken here, not even. And I'm going to sprinkle the flour in, and I'm just going to toss this and move it around with my tongs until all the pieces are nicely coated. And I'll just keep adding flour until I feel like I have enough that every piece of chicken is well coated. Yeah, this looks just about right. What you don't want is too much flour where you get big clumps. But you can see, this is, if I shake this, it's a nice even coating of flour. You can see my sausage is starting to brown nicely. I'm just going to turn it over. And I'm not going to cook it through. I'm just going to brown it, and we'll set it aside and do the chicken. All right, so this looks good. I got some color on my sausage. I'm going to set that aside. I want to add a couple more tablespoons of the extra virgin olive oil. I want to have enough for my chicken. And I'm just going to start to lay in the chicken pieces. I'm going to do it all. I'm going to try to get it all in there in one shot if I can. I fit all my chicken in one nice even layer. I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit. I want it to get a nice golden brown on both sides. And I'm going to put it right back in this bowl with the excess flour, and it'll pick up some of that flour, and all that's going to do is help us thicken the sauce. Alright, so this looks perfect. Nice golden brown color. I'm going to flip these over, and then I'm going to get my sausage ready. So my chicken's continuing to brown, and you know, when you got a lot of chicken in the pan like that, sometimes you move it around so that make sure you evenly brown it all. I'm going to cut my sausage, and I'm just going to cut it on the bias like this. Just make some nice pieces. And then I'll put it back in my bowl, and I'll show you what we do next. Alright, so my chicken's ready. I'm taking it all out. And you can see all this stuff stuck to the bottom. That's good stuff. Don't worry about that. We're going to get that up later. I'm going to add my sausage back. Just for 2 minutes, start to brown it, and I'm going to add my vegetables. Just a touch more olive oil with the sausage, and all my veggies are going right in. I'm going to start to cook those down. It's going to take about 10 minutes until they start to soften up a little bit. Alright, so this cooked on high for about 10 minutes. And what I want to do is just add a little bit of flour, just about a tablespoon to help thicken the sauce. And I'm going to start to add my liquid. I'll start with the white wine. It's about 1.5 cups of white wine. I'm going to add a little bit of the liquid from the pickled cherry peppers. Some red wine vinegar. It's about a good cup of red wine vinegar. I'm going to add my bouillon cube, my sugar, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and I'm going to add a little bit of water, not too much, about 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup of water. And I'm going to bring this up to a boil, and I want to start scraping the bottom and get all those bits off of there. I'll use this flat wooden spoon to do that. Alright, so this has come to a boil. I scraped all the bits off the bottom, alright, and the wine and the other liquids help me to deglaze it. I'm just going to add a little bit of dried thyme. I'm going to add my pickled hot peppers. And the last thing I'm going to do is add back in my chicken. Alright, so my chicken is nestled in to the pot here, and this is going to cook down, so it looks like a lot, but it'll break down a little bit, and it looks just beautiful. It smells fantastic. You can smell the garlic, the onions, the vinegar. It smells absolutely unbelievable. So I'm just going to cover this now, and what I'm going to do is bake this in the oven. You could simmer it on the stovetop, but I like to bake it 350 degrees, about a ½ hour to 45 minutes. Then I'll uncover it and let it go for about another 15-20 minutes just to evaporate some of the liquid and get some color on top, and that's it. We'll be ready to try. Chicken Scarpariello is done. Now this baked for about 45 minutes covered and about 15 minutes uncovered, and that'll change depending on your oven, the size of your pot, but I'm ready to plate this up and give it a try. Alright, time to give this a try. This looks really, really great. I love all the colors of the peppers. I want to get a little piece of the sausage, a piece of potato. Maybe I'll grab a piece of pepper. Try some of the chicken. Chicken's very tender. Wow, that is incredible. Tons and tons of flavor in the sauce, in the sausage. The chicken is braised in the liquid, so it's really juicy, moist, and tender. It's an incredible dish. If you never had chicken Scarpariello, you got to try and make it. And I know my brother-in-law Joe is going to watch this video, so call me with your questions, Joe. I know you're going to have them. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget, look for me on YouTube, Chris Smith, DiGiovanna Family Recipes. Thanks for watching.